And so we did give the green light in the SRL. It's just a matter of the restream catching up. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Exciting.
Alright, so a couple cutscene skips later, and here we go. So we have a few minutes to, here as we're trekking through the hive chambers here in almost perfect synchronization, I should add. So a bit of a background for the two runners. Gollop is actually 2-2 this tournament. He ended up not racing on week 1, won his other 2 matches, but took a loss to Bellator. Bellator will be facing the loser of this race for 3rd place. Dyceron, meanwhile, has been on a bit of a winning streak this tournament. Has won pretty much every match, and especially demonstrated a good performance in the match versus Kirby Master a couple of weeks back. Plenty of out-of-bounds from both runners. They both put on a spectacular show.
So one of the first tricks we're going to see here is they're going to ride an invisible, they're going to be invisible and riding a crate.
Looks like Gollop has elected.
Pass up on it.
Yeah, not this time. DCR, on the other hand, based on the fact that this cutscene has been skipped despite the frame drop there, looks like he's going to go for it. And they end up getting there at the exact same time.
Yeah. It doesn't save very much time, so it's worth going for. It's not super difficult. You just you have to practice it for a while to get consistent with it.
Indeed, and if I didn't know better, I'd say the last 30 minutes I was watching the same runner, or 30 seconds rather. And that was an absolutely beautiful task jump from Gollop.
Nice.
Absolutely nailed it. I'm not even sure we saw what was up there. It's just an early missile, which is nice because now he can check the storage chamber here.
Yeah, that's an additional item for him. And a power bomb is pretty nice early on as well.
Yeah, pretty nice, but unfortunately we don't have morphball bombs or space jump, so Gollop won't be able to route in communications area as a free check, but he will be able to route in Dynamo Chamber.
And get an extra free check, actually. You can actually do a jump to get up communication area. Oh, just a red temple key, potentially useful before going into Aegon.
Very true, and yeah, you were right. You were right about that jump there.
It ends up just being King Hive Key.
Oh well.
So yeah, he has his extra power bomb, and what he's going to do is he's going to jump on a little piece of wall and just jump up the rocks and just roll over and power bomb this left. You normally use regular bombs. Hey.
Okay, this is funny.
Well, it's have to come back later. It technically puts him behind right now, but at the same time, very likely Dyceron is going to check these 2 locations anyways, so it's pretty much a wash.
In before we get access to Sang Spider's side and the ability to fight quads super early. But yeah, it looks like we're just getting a standard missile launcher from the GFMC crate here to start things off. So no early seekers. Gonna get a quick look at what is peaking in Transport A access, and I believe that was Light Beam.
That's what I thought as well.
And Gollop is going to be able to get that nice and early, courtesy of that power bomb tank, assuming he still has one in reserve, which I do believe he does.
He's probably going to get a power bomb refilled during the fight anyway. Probably more than one.
He's got to get that. He's got to get the power bomb now before he gets to Transport A access. Otherwise, the door's going to close on him.
There's some crates by the wall here. Some wasps he could shoot.
Unfortunately, Dyceron getting revenge of the Prime 1 drop system, seemingly, and not getting any extra missiles for the Dark Alpha Splinter fight. Oops.
Yeah. If you're not at 0, or if there's a regular missile on the field, like a regular refill on the field, then the game doesn't raise the chances, unfortunately. But yeah, this is saving Gollop quite a bit of time, even with having to go out of his way to farm. He won't have to come out of his way later to get that light beam.
Yeah, and light beam's actually a big plus, especially for the Dark Alpha Splinter fight, because he is weak to light beam.
He's also very weak to power bombs as well.
Very true. If Gollop does get a lucky power bomb drop, that's going to save him almost a minute here, which it looks like he did.
Yeah, he's probably going to power bomb first phase. No, he's just going to go with power beam. Probably should opt for light beam. That does do more damage than the regular power beam. You can fire much faster than the charge beam.
I don't know if that actually progresses Alpha Splinter's damage trigger. Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Never mind. But we got a good hint from Dyceron saying that the Chica is dead.
Nice.
For he is only guarding she is only guarding a dark tank.
It would have been to Dyceron's benefit if Chica had an item, because he can very quickly get Cannonball in Sanctuary Fortress, and he can use that to insta-kill the adult phase.
Indeed.
I don't know if Gollop would go for that.
Now that was a visor upgrade in Transport B access, but I don't know which visor it was. It's probably Echo or Dark if I had to hazard a guess. I think the lines on the bottom were just a tad bit too lime green for Emerald.
Yeah, we don't want to say for sure because we've confused that in previous races as well.
Yeah, Gollop will give us another look here, for sure.
One of the hardest things to do in Echo's randomizer is tell the difference between visors, or tell the difference between missile tanks and actually important items.
And indeed it was a visor, it was Dark Visor. So that's an early Dark Visor with Seeker missiles. Hopefully, if Seeker missiles show up relatively soon, we may end up getting an early trip back to Sanctuary, to the Sanctuary entrance.
Yeah. So that kind of diminishes the value of the early light beam, because he'll probably have to go back for Dark Visor, because there are a couple Dark Visor checks in Aegon Waste. There's Battleground. I think there's another, I forget. I mean, Dark Oasis doesn't really count yet.
Yeah, Dark Oasis. Actually, Gollop surprisingly did not open the crystal switch to Plane of Dark Worship. I'm kind of surprised at that.
Yeah, it would have been best to do it like immediately, and then just have it open when you come back later.
Yeah, it looks like Dyceron's actually going to go ahead and use that power bomb tank to make the trek around Temple Grounds a second time. And there is, on the subject of Emerald Translator, a Morph Ball system can be found in Aegon. Did that say Aegon Temple?
I think so.
Yeah, unfortunately, our restream quality... Very true. But yeah, it's highly likely that that might be just a vanilla bomb. It usually is, but given that we have a power bomb to work with, certainly there's a backup plan on hand in the event that we get, if it is Spider Ball. Because if it's Boost Ball, we could just boost right through the gate, no big deal.
I think in a recent match, we were almost positive it was bombs, and it turned out to be Spider.
Yikes.
The runners did have space jump though, so that they could just get over the gate with some tricky slope jumping.
On the subject of slope jumping, it seems like Gollop is electing to not do the Mining Plaza Bridge slope jump here to skip a little bit of traversal around the area.
Yeah, that one's pretty high risk for not too much reward. I guess the risk and reward are about even, but if you're not confident at it, of course, you would err on the side of caution.
Indeed, we got another cheeseburger there in due to mining station access. So the nice thing about that extra power bomb is it's another backup plan. Now we can not only get out of something interesting up there in mining station A. I believe that is another ball upgrade. I couldn't really tell. I knew it was gray and that it was glowing. That's about it.
Nice.
If it is a ball upgrade, it has to be boost.
Yes, you do need, you logically need Spider Ball to get that, although it is possible with just Space Jump and a certain layer in the room.
Very true
what
with the
triggers
War
the
Wasps.
wasps to appear.
I'm not
But
sure
at
either.
some point, there's a trigger to remove them from the room as well.
But we do have a bit of a change of pace here. Turns out the bombs were not in the temple. They were in Portal Access A. So that means there is a 50-50 chance Spider Ball could be chilling right here on Bomb Guardian. It's either going to be Spider Ball or main power bombs. But already 3 out of 4 Morph Ball systems sighted, or at least known about. And it looks like Dyceron's actually going back with that power bomb and doing an early Hive Chamber B play. This is something we actually have been starting to see a lot from most runners, and
Wow.
it pays out.
So he's gonna get his boost ball right away. He goes into Aegon.
Yeah, that is really convenient. And Bomb Guardian guarding our Spider Ball. So technically our boost ball is actually not in launching until we find main power bombs, although given what we've seen, I wouldn't be shocked if it's just chilling right here in the energy controller.
As a reminder, the main power bombs are required in order for the logic to place anything in a power bomb locked location. But, I mean, we can always just use power bombs without it. That is a setting in Randomania. You can opt to require main power bombs to use the item, but it'll always logically require it just to speed up the generation time of a seed. It just the verification time of a seed. It'll just not consider expansions at all.
Indeed. Now with Space Jump in tow, Dyceron is actually deciding to double back to grab Dark Visor very quickly. So Dyceron going to have a little bit of extra utility going into Aegon, although Dark Visor doesn't do much in Aegon except open up the Battleground check. And the it'll eventually open up Dark Oasis if that's needed. I think that Seeker Missile's in Ventilation. Oh, nope, that's Amber Translator.
Oh,
I thought it was Seekers for a split second.
Always feels good to have Amber Translator at some point in Aegon. It's a little later than you would have hoped. I mean, ideally it's the very first. Ideally it's before Aegon entirely, but this isn't so bad.
Yeah, and with Amber Translator in tow, Gollop's going to make an early trip back to the energy controller to grab those hints. Yeah, making a play strictly for hints can definitely end up really saving you some backtracking later if you end up struggling.
And he has the time to kill, because he did get light game a little faster than Dyceron did.
Very
He
true.
didn't have to backtrack for it.
Adam has not yet authorized the use of that hint, unfortunately. But yeah, so while Dyceron was a few minutes late getting to Aegon, he can now pretty much go straight to labs if he wanted to, since he's eventually about to pick up bombs and already has Space Jump in tow. Gollop, on the other hand, is probably going to, since we haven't seen any beams, he's actually probably going to go back to, he's probably going to grab a boost ball real quick, or whatever is in Mining Station A, and then go straight to either Dark Aegon or head back to the Hive Chambers. We shall see. Oh, that was a joke hint for Hive Chamber B. Now, it gave an item that does not exist, but it does point to a non-expansion. Oh, hey, there's main power bombs. There's all our morph ball systems.
There we go. That's real good.
And it is, in fact, Boost Ball in Mining Station A. Looks like we also got to look at Mining Plaza from Dyceron that chat caught. And it is an energy tank. That's good. That's a check you really don't want to have to come back for, because to get the Mining Plaza item, you must not only defeat a Morbus, but you must also take and return the Aegon energy, and then come back with Echo Visor and Screw Attack. But yeah, all ball upgrades in Logic in 15 minutes. I think that is a record for this tournament.
It's some kind of record for sure.
Both of our runners having no problem power bombing Bomb Guardian here. And yeah, with the joke hint for Hive Chamber B in tow, Gollop is going straight over. Now, we should point out real quick that since our runners are not running on any special gentleman's agreements today, they are playing on a no tricks logic difficulty, so the logic will not be expecting them to be doing anything in the way of BSJs, tough scan dashes, or specific layer double jumps to get up to special items. Oh, Dark Missile Trooper had the Dark Beam.
Oh, that changes things. So that space jump was huge. But now Dyceron is going to have to go back to Hive Station A anyway. So the advantages just keep switching around.
Yeah, this is a pretty... this is definitely a race swinging back and forth on the fly for a change. Well, I shouldn't say for a change. This early on especially. It's not common that we see this many... We've actually already got a lot of tools at our disposal. We can now... pretty much almost full clear labs, except for a couple of super missiles checks. And when Gollop goes to Dark Aegon, assuming he goes in that direction after returning to Aegon, he'll be able to check in Cache 4. Dyceron, meanwhile, is going there now, it would appear. And yeah, as chat points out, yeah, the Dark Missile Trooper does not appear until you defeat Bomb Guardian. So right now, Gollop has been routing this seed, despite initially leaving Space Jump behind, has ended up routing this seed quite well.
A lot of players will prefer to fight Jump Guardian before their first revisit to Temple Grounds. But I find that you usually don't want to go to GFMC Compound until like much later, until after you clear out Aegon. There are definitely exceptions, but it's hard to say.
You know what's really crazy? We're literally just Screw Attack away from Grand Windchamber being in Logic.
Yeah.
Now, the only difference right now that... now, another major... Although one major thing is here is that, as Chad also points out, Gollop did not get Dark Visor yet. He hasn't gone back to Transport A access to grab...
Transport B access.
Yeah, he hasn't gone to Transport B access. I have no idea what that was in Crossroads.
Probably an E-Tank, I think.
And we have main power bombs, so we can get back to GFMC. Oh yeah, we need Seeker missiles too. Whoopsie. Okay, unfortunately I could not read that hint, so I'm gonna need chat to help us out with this one.
But for Windchamber Gateway, that's fine.
True.
Windchamber Gateway, I find, pretty often has items if you don't find everything you need in Aegon.
That's a very good good point. It doesn't take that many items to check, all things considering. It just takes a way to get to GFMC, power bombs, and screw attack at minimum. But apparently the hint was for boost balls, so thanks, game. Oh, DCR managed to get to the missile door and blast the missile shield before the Jump Guardian died.
That is a pretty long death animation.
Pretty heads-up play there. Quite efficient.
Yeah, that's what makes him such a tough opponent. Like, not only is he really solid at just movement in the game and just clearing any percent very, very quickly, but he's also really creative and heads up with a lot of the options that you have when you do a randomizer that you otherwise wouldn't.
Indeed, and now he's got some safety to go with it, because Jump Guardian and Trial Tunnel both had energy tanks. I got a better look at Crossroads, by the way, and it looked like it was just a light ammo tank. And chat is confirming that with me, so thank you, chat. Getting an Ink Cache 4 check. Now, DCR is going to have to wait out on this for a bit, but it is just a missile tank.
With luck, he'll never find himself back there anyway.
Gollop showing a little bit of disrespect to that Lightbringer, boosting it into Oblivion.
Yeah, it's faster.
It is. Apparently a single shot of Annihilator Beam, I think, works on those two.
Yeah. I forget if Annihilator Beam does it, but Dark Beam definitely does it.
So with the Dark Aegon play, the initial Dark Aegon play completed, I would suspect Gollop's next stop is going to visit labs. Since we're still secret missiles away from... Actually, we could also access the Spider's Treasure, since we do have 2 logical energy tanks. So Hazencliff is in logic with Power Bomb, Spider Ball, and only on Various Suit.
Mm-hmm. I think at this stage in the tournament, players can do well with the old requirements for Dark Rooms, with only needing 1 E-Tank for Hazencliff. You literally just said it, I already forgot the name. Yeah,
oh,
for Hazencliff, but we, by default, the Randovania modifies the damage requirement to the 1.5 times the original intended, or the original values for Dark Rooms.
Yeah, normally that's normally Hazencliff wants 150, but for these settings they want the logic wants 225. So Dyceron is actually our first to go to Central Mining Station, so we're going to see the labs play from him first, although he's going to have to, without Dark Beam in tow, he's going to have to leave Storage B and Storage D behind. If he tries to gamble on Vanilla Dark Beam, he will be sorely disappointed. Whoops, Dyceron getting Echo's physics there with that Spider Ball track.
Yeah, he is going to miss the hint on Key Bearer, it looks like.
Oh, never mind. Looks like he's electing to go to Command Center first, and then maybe he'll reload the room after picking up the Command Center item. I would laugh if this is the third Hive key.
I'm gonna guess he's just gonna continue on through and do labs.
Aw, it's not an Hive key, but it is an Aegon key, the first we've seen. Yeah, surprisingly, despite a vanilla setting start, our first Aegon key is the third red key we ended up getting so far. Yeah, so our runners are going to kind of play, for the most part, follow the leader for a bit here. We'll see how what Gollop ends up plundering from storages B and D. Although, if super missiles show up soon, before too long, both of our runners will be able to squeeze in storage C.
I always find it amusing when I watch a rando and I see players following in each other's footsteps. Like one runner's just like 30 seconds or a minute behind another runner, but he has another item from elsewhere that the other runner is going to have to go back for. Like, who's the real leader here?
Yeah, that becomes really tough to tell until you know exactly what is needed, especially after we get like Sky Temple key hints. But it looks like Gollop is actually going to double back quickly and do Central Mining Station, check the key bearer hint first. This actually makes a lot of... Actually, ironically, Gollop's the one without Dark Visor, so if anything, this is just going to be... if anything, it makes sense for DCR to skip the key bearer because he's going to find out in a minute, most likely anyway, unless Annihilator Beam doesn't happen to show up in here. Because then he won't have any Dark World access.
Just an expansion, okay.
Yeah, expansion on the key bearer, missile tank in the behind the force field. And Gollop, seeing that it's an Aegon key, is probably going to get that on the way out. Unless an Amorbus hint happens to show up. And we've actually got a little bit of holding hands together at this time, as both of our runners are going to be passing through this neck of the woods. Unfortunately, DCR missing out on that missile tank.
Yeah. Just about to say that. It's not really helping Gollop, but it may end up hurting Dyceron later on.
Yeah, I think that pirate decided to do a ring around the rosy a little bit there before crashing. Oop, we got another red key in bioenergy production, and this is our second Aegon key. I imagine both of our runners... I'm sorry, you first.
Go ahead. Okay. So logically, the Dark Samus 1 fight should not be done by Dyceron, but he's perfectly fine getting the fight done and seeing what's in storage D, and then just bomb jumping out from the entrance.
Yeah, he'll have... I'm not concerned about our runners in storage D at this point. Anyways, but I imagine, and it looks like both runners are going to pick up that key, and I like this play because I have always believed if you do not have the hint, it's a good idea to get the key. Because yeah, there is a guaranteed Amorbus, Chica, Quad, and Umos 2 hint in all hint pools, and the only boss we know is dead so far is Chica.
Yeah, I'll typically pick up Aegon keys. I might skip Torvis keys, though, just with wishful thinking.
Yeah, Chica's definitely a boss you want to hope you can skip if you can, because there's really not much besides Cannonball that can make that fight super trivial. Amorbus, on the other hand, if you have either Super Missiles, Secret Missiles, or Light Beam, which both runners do have, the fight for Amorbus isn't that bad.
Although Chica Larva is actually considerably faster with Annihilator Beam if you have a massive quantity of ammo.
Ah, very true.
You can basically 1.5 cycle Chica Larva if he jumps up and lets you super missile his belly.
That's actually really. I don't think we've actually seen that this tournament yet. Chica hasn't been required that many times, to be fair. I think she's only been required 8, according to my tally. We got a simultaneous sand processing check here, and it is for another missile tank.
All right.
I say only 8 times, but by comparison to the other bosses, Chica has not reared her ugly wings around that often. Fortunately, Dyceron not getting the one-cycle power bomb there on Dark Samus 1.
Didn't quite do the proper movement to manipulate her. I missed how he started it. There's a pretty easy way to do it if you just move in place as soon as the fight starts, and then just roll to the left around the pillar. She'll basically always run into you.
Yeah, anything that gets her to run into you and throw up her shield is the best case scenario. And it is a Sky Temple key in Storage D. Now, DCR is going to have to come back for that, but Gollop not having to worry about that later is definitely going to be at an advantage with that.
Where'd you go, Dark Samus? Okay.
Decided to hide a little bit. We get an unconventional finish, too, using
Nice.
North Ball bombs of all things.
He ended up killing her with bombs after all.
Looked like a missile tank in the main reactor, so I don't think that's going to be too important. And Dark Oasis is dead, as it is just an expansion. Oh, Dark Samus is back already.
Yeah, so there's a Sky Temple key in Storage D, which Dyceron is going to have to come back for. It's very likely they'll wind up making a second trip through Aegon anyway. Because there are some late game locations back there.
Yeah, In Cache 2 and Feeding Pit most certainly come to mind. Yeah, in Cache 2, we're looking for Screw Attack and Annihilator Beam for that one. Meanwhile, we've got a little bit more divergence here. Gollop is coming back for the Aegon key, or nope, he's going straight to Doomed Entry, while Dyceron is going to pick up that Amber Translator, and we'll see if he elects to take this into the Spider's Treasure. So named because 99 times out of 100, especially this tournament, the 3 checks there, Hall of Combat Mastery, Hazing Cliff, and Calling Chamber, tend to have at least one progression item.
And debatably, like 200 times out of 100, if you consider the just how many required items tend to be there.
Yeah, although to be fair, we have already found a significant amount of items. We're getting some out of bounds action here from Dyceron. Looks like I think Dyceron's going for the Sky Temple key.
Well, he gets it.
He gets it.
Nice.
I think I see what he did there. Ooh, that's a Torvis key in Cache 1 there. Interesting.
Yeah, you can open doors. You can open that door from the blue door side, which is fine. You can't shoot the other side open without Dark Beam. But I mean, if the other side of the door is already shot, the main reactor is the room that is active. Apparently, yeah, the door will just open for you when you go close to it.
And very convenient, to say the least.
It's pretty risky, but that was a really solid use of out of bounds here.
Yeah, it looks like it's a dark ammo tank not in cache, in Battleground here, so I do believe this concludes Gollop's Dark Aegon sweep here. And I missed what was in Doomed Entry itself, unfortunately. Oh, it is Grapple Beam. So interesting,
Which
we have...
puts Plane of Dark Warship, no, not Plane of Dark Warship, Phazon grounds in Logic now.
Yes, it does. We have Emerald Translator. We have Dark World Access. We have. Oh, Gollop is.
It's gonna
Oh,
save
Gollop's
warp,
taking a
looks
save. He's taking a save warp. And main power bombs now in tow for Dyceron.
I don't know if I like this play. Because he has, I believe he has, okay, he's not save warping. He is going to Spider's Treasure, I think.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense, because there really isn't much you can do in the rest of the woods. Oh! And Gollop's going to get a suit when he goes to Sank, because there is a suit in Hall of Combat Mastery. To answer question, chat, I do not believe we have seen Mine Shaft yet. So, getting a premature hint there that Spider's Treasure is going to live up to its name today.
Yeah, Mine Shaft is a pretty high chance of having an item. It's not nearly as high as Spider's Treasure, but who knows? We could find Echo Visor there.
We could. At this point, it's a one-off check right now, though, because we're still looking for Seeker missiles for Mining Station B. Once we get Seekers, the whole Mining Station B neighborhood is full clearable.
Yep.
Looks like Gollop's saying, let's go straight to Dark Aether. He's probably going to regret that decision once he sees the suit. In the meantime, however, we are getting a reliquary check from Dyceron, and it is just an expansion, as it typically has been in this tournament. I think it's only had a Sky Temple key once. Oh my, that would be our last Dagon key in Hazing Cliff.
Nice bait.
I didn't see what was in Culling Chamber, but it looks like Gollop's not interested. Nice energy there for Dyceron on top of the GFS tier.
Alright. There's another item out of the way.
And there's the moment when Gollop realized he should probably have done this first.
Yeah, you pretty much should always check Hall of Combat Avoidance first.
I don't remember if Gollop saw this hint here. Oh, just make sure to collect an energy transfer module, otherwise your run won't be valid. Although I don't think in these settings we can.
Nope. It doesn't exist, unfortunately.
Yeah, the whole item pool is filled up with these settings. The way the randomizer works is that any items that are, if there are any item spots in the pool that are not filled, the game will just replace them with energy transfer modules, if you haven't designated them to be replaced with something else. Oh!
Sky Temple Key, okay.
Oh boy.
No screw attack yet to get that. But it is, it would be in logic with the grapple beam and, well, once they get Seekers.
Indeed, and to answer a question in chat, Dark Missile Trooper has our Dark Beam, which Dyceron should be heading in that direction relatively soon. Gollop, meanwhile, has elected to nope out of Sank. I'm curious to see where he takes this. I'm wondering, actually, if he is gambling a Morbus right now. Or taking a save warp. We shall see. Looks like he's taking a save warp.
We'll also get to see... Oh no, we don't have Supers or Seekers, so we can't see all of Honored.
We actually could see it.
Yeah.
If we went from Temple Transport Amber.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
However, if the way out is not, if there is no way out, if there are no Seekers in there, then it would be a soft lock. And we have no screw attack either, so we can't easily screw attack into the tunnel to get out either.
I'm sure these runners wouldn't have a problem doing the instant morph to get out.
Probably
It
not.
might take a few tries, but they're reasonably comfortable with it.
And with Dark Suit in tow,
there would be interesting.
Absolutely. We're going to get a Plane of Dark Worship check here from Gollop.
Nice.
On the subject of Hall of Honor Dead, Dyceron is opening up the Amber Gateway and heading in that direction.
Ooh.
Oh! We were both amazed at that one. But that is a very conveniently placed Seeker Missiles in Plane of Dark Worship.
That's working out really nicely for him.
And with this, Gollop is actually going to be able to route in a much more comfortable Hall of Honor Dead check. I'm going to laugh if Dyceron gets to this and it's Super Missiles. And that is a hint for a bioenergy production key. Thanks, game. And Gollop has remembered to come back for Dark Visor. Is probably going to route this into the Torva Squadron. And follow to Hall of Honor Dead. Well, whatever that is, Dyceron is not getting it. And he also nails the instant morph. Ooh, Gollop proving me a liar here and reminding me that with Dark Visor and Seekers in tow, we actually could go back to GFMC from the temple. Chat is saying that it was Sonic Boom in Hall of Honor Dead. And Dyceron also now remembering he couldn't kill Dark Missile Trooper and is about to get his Dark Beam. So at this point, despite everything we have seen, despite all the routing divergence, the only thing Gollop has up on Dyceron right now is that grapple beam from Doomed Entry and that third Aegon key from Spider's Treasure, and the suit. But not that much, all things considering. Oh, and Secret Missiles too. Yeah, that's actually a really big one. And that's locked by Dark Suit by logic, too. Shoutouts to Seekers, one of the best items in the Prime Trilogy. And it looks like Dyceron's going to go to Plane of Dark Worship. He's going to see the Seeker Missiles, but with 3 energy tanks and Various Suit, no screw attack, there is no way he can make it. With screw attack, it is possible to screw attack over there with Various Suit and take advantage of the roughly 75-ish% damage reduction from screw attack to get the item and get back, but it's still very tight with 3 energy tanks. What do you think, Jagger? Progression on a Morbus?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, although, actually, with our current equipment, we do have Torvis access. Full upper Torvis access, actually, pretty much. The only exception is Meditation Vista. Yeah, we don't have supers, but the only thing supers locks out in Upper Torvis is a convenient door to get back to get between the temple and Lower Torvis. We have power bombs, so we can go around Upper Dark Torvis just fine. And it looks like that is exactly what Gollop is doing.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry for the absence. And,
No worries.
Yeah, this is. I do like the Torvis play. They've had access for the front of Torvis, right? With the Amber.
With Amber, Light Beam, and Dark Suit, yes. They could go through the front door. Gollop is going through the back door, courtesy of Secret Missiles. Yeah, that door in particular is really tough. You have to aim... Ooh, Sky Temple Key. You have to aim just a tad bit to the left of the door. Gollop was aiming a little too far to the left. And I, again, could not read that hint due to restream quality.
Gollop's a real fast reader. He always just, he only has the hints up for, a few frames.
That's very true. He is an excellent reader. Chat's saying that it was Echo Visor is in Sank.
That's being able to read fast is a pretty big advantage for the randomizers too, for hints at least. That's part of the reason I'm not too I don't go out of my way to find hints because I lose time every time I read a hint because I'm a very slow reader.
Alright, Dyceron going through the Spider's Treasure, this time with Dark Suit in tow before hazing Cliff, and manages to take Cliff down with him going down the fall plane because for some reason that takes him out. We call Cliff the Dark Metroid. Yeah.
Can you believe they created a room specifically in order to haze Cliff?
Probably just a coincidence. But yeah, chat was right the first time. It is, I looked back at the VOD, and the hint was that Echo Visor is in Cat West. Which is interesting. We're close to being able to get that right now. I'm actually trying to think. The only thing that we really need to get over to that neck of the woods is Screw Attack, which actually means Screw Attack has to be our way over there, because we can't get up Cat West the other way, since we won't be able to get Echo Visor. Another Sky Temple key. So, Torvis Bog, the Bog of Sky Temple keys.
Yeah, it tends to be. I think I've seen a seed where there were 8 temple keys in Torvis.
My goodness gracious.
I'm sure 9 is possible.
I think so, but highly unlikely.
It's also interesting because you typically get access to Torvis real late in the game. Real late in randomizer seeds.
Very true, because you do need a lot to get to Torvis. Either you need Seekers and Boost Ball to get there from the Aegon elevator. You need Amber, Light Beam, and Dark Suit, or Super Missiles. to get there from the front door, and then you need power bombs to get, and lower Torvis access in general to get there from Sank.
And even with Boost Ball and Seekers, you still need light beam and super missiles, light beam and or super missiles to explore any further. And I guess Dark Beam as well.
True, yeah, because you can't get past Torvis Lagoon without it. I don't think there was that much in the plaza or the abandoned worksite. I think abandoned worksite was a missile. Another Scott game, please.
Yep. As expected at this point. And yeah, Torvis Grove has dark doors as well that you would need to shoot if you go in for Magon.
Very true. And with Dark Suit, Dyceron will go went right back for those secret missiles. Oh, and Gollop just got run over by the pirate skiff. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before.
I have seen it happen where you roll under the skiff. For some reason, it screws up the collision of the skiff, and it bumps it, and the pirate will just get launched off of the skiff and just be stuck out of bounds.
Oh my goodness, that I have never seen. Sounds hilarious though.
I think it's happened. I've seen it happen to other people. Never happened to me, but it's happened like 3 times this year.
Yikes. Looks like a missile tank in the temple.
I forget if that happened to DCR. I think it happened to someone in the tournament.
Of course. Game gives you super missiles after the temple.
Yeah.
So, Gollop being able to access Torvis as early as he has is literally just picking stuff up left and right. And there's the super missile hint. Thanks, game. Oh, and add Cobalt Translator onto that. This is one of the most loaded upper Torvises I've seen in a long time.
Jeez. I mean, it feels like Gollop is running away with it here. But we have no idea where Screw Attack is. That is going to be required to beat the game.
Yeah,
Even
if not
with
at the
out-of-bounds shenanigans.
Yeah, and we do know Screw Attack is locking Echo Visor too, so an expansion in the bog. Yet another Sky Temple key in Torvis Lagoon.
So gravity technically required, but not actually required.
Yeah, unfortunately without Screw Attack, we're not going to be seeing an air underwater maneuver here from Gollop.
Yeah, not quite yet.
Cheeseburger there in storage A. I didn't see it was in Mining Station B. Another Sky Temple key.
Nice.
So how many Sky Temple keys is that we know of now? 6?
Did Dyceron scan that hint in Mining Station B?
He didn't. I think he's raising the drill first, and then he's going to check the hint.
I'm surprised.
I think he's raising
him to actually do this puzzle.
I think he's just raising the drill so that it's in a more stable position to perform a BSJ. Oh! Well, we know where Screw Attack is. Sank Energy Controller.
That's... yeah. Now we just gotta see if Echo's required, if Annihilator is required, if Light Suit is required.
Yeah, if anything else, if only Screw Attack is required beyond this point, we are going to be in no mode in less than an hour. Oh, chat also brings up Gravity Boost could be a movement system. So, yeah, whoopsie. 50-50 that Screw Attack. And yeah, as...
It can't be there, actually. It has to be Gravity Boost, because in order to get up there...
Well, we have Grapple Beam, so... we can grapple across the Hive Temple. Not Hive Temple, the Stank Temple.
Right. Sorry, I'm thinking of one thing where you have to get across the gap.
Yeah.
Or fight Caretaker Drone. Or screw attack up the wall. Which, I mean, then you could just cross the gap. Okay. That makes more sense then.
Yeah, we're going to get our Sky Temple key hint checks. I'm very curious to see where our 3 unknown keys are, although we're probably not going to get the most time in the world to read these. So, chat, we're going to ask you to help us out with this one. Ooh, Transit Tunnel South. We need Annihilator and Gravity Boost, unless you want to go out of bounds.
Grand Wind Chamber. He skipped to read. Mining Station B. Under Temple Access.
That's free. So the 3 unknowns are Under Temple Access, Transit Tunnel South, and what was the last one?
Mining Station B. Dyceron already saw that one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Reading some of them.
I think he did because. Oh, actually, yeah, Gollop did skip a hint. You're right. Hold on.
It just so happened to be Torvis Lagoon.
Oh, you know what? You're probably right.
Did he have 5 keys or just 4?
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember where the keys we have are. We've got Storage D, Mining Station B, the treasure trove we found in Torvis. I've lost count, actually.
After on going for the roll jump method of the skip. It's just a missile tank anyway. He won't bother with the other methods.
Yeah, so that's Spider Guardian at least.
Super swag, though.
Indeed. Now, unfortunately, we are going to need, by logic, we do need an Annihilator Beam and Gravity Boost. And we are still looking for Screw Attack, which it's only a 50-50 shot that it's in the Sank Energy Controller, despite my initial hype. My apologies for that. Looks like Dyceron's first order of business is to try, and I think he's trying to rush the movement system in Sank Energy Controller. Although, I don't think he has Grapple Beam. I don't remember him going to Dark Aegon after Dark Samus 1. Because at the time he didn't have Dark Beam.
Yeah. More a matter of what is he thinking the logic is telling him, or does he care when it comes to energy controller because he knows it's a movement system?
Yeah, really interesting to see how this one develops. And yeah, chat's saying that Dyceron skipped having Grapple Beam for this before, so it looks like he'll be fine. So yeah, prepare to be amazed, folks. Dyceron's going to show us some more elite trickery here. It looks like Gollop is electing to start by going for the Mining Station B key. He's actually going to get that hint about Gravity Boost here while he's at it, too. I wouldn't be surprised to see him route this back to Sank and start clearing out Sank.
Very clean execution getting here. That fight with the quad earlier in Temple Access is actually faster than just destroying it with the cannon. If you
really?
did it as cleanly as he did, yeah. It's just very slightly faster because you keep the temple loaded instead of unloading it by taking the cannon to the top of the room.
Oh, okay. Ooh, Dyceron getting Trilogy collisioned there, as I like to call that, because, yeah, Trilogy patched out a lot of standable terrain. Just made it so that you slide down everything. But yeah, you're seeing why DCR is one of the more heavily favored contestants to win this tournament, with how fast he's been able to, despite the hiccups here, make pretty much mincemeat out of this Sank play with what he's picked up. He is having a little trouble getting past Sank here, though. Luckily, he will be able to at least get out if he decides he wants to bail on this.
I feel a little biased here. I'm both liking and disliking seeing him struggle with this. Like, I'm seeing him fall down, and I'm like, there's blood in the water. It looks like we have a chance, fellas.
And yeah, just as predicted, Gollop is heading straight to Sanctuary Fortress. He's going to try and rush that. He's going to try and rush the movement system. Which, if it is Screw Attack, I think the only thing we're looking for is Annihilator Beam and Gravity Boost.
The worst part about this trick that DCR is doing is that even once you get up there, you have to be confident enough to just let go of the control stick and not move. Otherwise, like, the slightest movement, oh, there it is, there's Screw Attack. Slightest movement will just send you walking off back down into the floor.
Yeah, and as we get that, we discover that I believe Quad is dead. I thought I saw it say it was an ammo tank.
I'd say it's pretty dead, at least for Dyceron. So what keys need what? We need Annihilator for Transit Tunnel South, right?
We need Annihilator for Transit Tunnel South. Under Transit 1 is free. Gollop still needs to get Grand Wind Chamber and Torvus Lagoon as well.
Okay. So I think well, once Dyceron gets Super Missiles, he'll be in go mode, because he knows how to get a Transit Tunnel South without Annihilator, I believe. Yeah.
I think so. I mislit that Cobalt hint. I'm checking the playback for a second. Oh, in cache 1 red temple key hint. Thanks, game.
I was second guessing myself a little there, because last time I saw it done was with the Screw Attack inside Transit Tunnel South, but no, there's definitely a way to get there with another room's out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't remember which one. I'm not familiar with that particular trick, although Dyceron nailing the BSJ to get up to the Watch Station Morph Ball tunnel here.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but this neighborhood also really seems to like giving this neighborhood in particular seems to really like giving Annihilator Beam for me. I just realized I think that's
here a few times.
I think that's actually Sunburst in the temple access.
Yeah, I think so.
Looked like a missile and something else useless behind the force field in aerial training site.
Unfortunately, that sunburst will take more than 3 seconds to get, so we're not going to see it in use.
Unfortunately. Oh, we're getting some Grand Abyss action here from Dyceron.
Nice. Very nicely done. I don't know if that is actually faster or not, because the scan dash movement is faster than just screw attacking across.
I could be wrong, but I believe that was a second suit in in Vault.
Yeah, this is good and bad. I mean, it's good in that he won't take Dark World damage anymore, but it's bad because that doesn't really matter, and he doesn't need it for any keys. So he's just doing Vault for safety.
Very true, yeah. I don't think at this point, unless we discover that something important is in, Sank Map Station or Fortress Area Transport, Fortress Transport Access.
Yeah, he could find Annihilator. That would make that last temple key considerably easier. Considerably faster as well.
Yeah, the only downside is we're still, if you want to get the Transcendental South key without much difficulty, we still need Gravity Boost. Now, Dyceron hasn't read the STK hints, so he doesn't know that he's in really good shape. He is about to get Echo Visor, though. Oh, Gravity Boost is in Cache B, I believe that said. And there's Annihilator Beam in main research.
Nice.
That's going to be a full tracker. Besides keys. Oh, that just put Gollop actually at a huge advantage, because now he knows exactly where to get Gravity Boost. Wow, talk about the routing of legends right there.
Yeah, on the other hand, Gollop is pretty darn close to Go Mode himself. And he knows where all the temple keys are.
Yeah, I would say, especially with the Sky Temple keys, I would actually say Gollop has the distinct advantage right now. Especially since he's going to try and sneak in Lower Torvus now.
Gollop got that Gravity Boost hint, right?
Yeah, he did. He's the only one who could have. It's a Cobalt hint.
Right.
What have you missed since Gollop got supers? Dyceron got Light Suit, and the movement system in Sank Energy Controller was Screw Attack, and we're basically in, like, Super No mode. Light Suit was in the Sank Vault.
Right. Okay, Gollop, right. Gollop did get Screw Attack, so he is actually in Go Mode.
Yeah, there's only and you know what? I just realized Gollop did fight the pirates in the temple, so the force field to get out of Lower Torvus is down.
Yeah.
So yeah, if Gollop can just get out around this statue, he is in business.
Yeah, this is really good for Gollop. This is really tricky. Basically, there are a couple of positions where your spider ball will kind of click in place. And you sort of want to just tap down so it moves towards the next click, and then release a boost before it lands, before it settles.
And there he goes, absolutely not having that much issue, although one major distinction here is that Gollop has 2 less energy tanks than Dyceron, is actually down to 100 energy. He's cutting it a little close there. Dying right now would really, really suck. Oh, and you know something else? Dyceron's getting baited by Echo Visor. He's going to Airy.
This is real bad for Dyceron. Unfortunately, his super missiles is in Torvus, where he would really like to have super missiles already.
Yeah, this literally cannot be anything right now.
Could be a Chika key that we don't need.
That's about it, really. And looks like it was a It looks like an ammo tank.
I was hoping for ETM. Have we found that?
I don't think it's possible with this item pool.
Oh, right. You said that earlier. I even confirmed that earlier.
That's okay. But yeah, Gollop is immediately going for that gravity boost, and most likely routing in the Torvus Lagoon key while he's at it. But yeah, what an incredible way for this one to wind down, although I'm sure Gollop wouldn't mind at least one more energy tank before attempting to tackle Emperor Aang with Dark Suit, and only 2 tanks. You know something? I think DCR's decision to do Hive Chamber B early might have ended up biting him in the backside a little bit, because he ended up not coming back for Dark Missile Trooper until considerably later, and Dark Missile Trooper had his Dark Beam.
Yeah, that's the way Rando tends to go. You make a good play, and it costs you.
Yeah, and Dyceron reset out of area after seeing it was garbage, so now his next pit stop is Sentinel's Path, and it looks like he actually made a pit stop for Sunburst while he was at it.
Okay. Doing a bit of memeing.
I don't blame him, since at this point he doesn't realize that the one of the things that Sunburst is really useful on Grapple Guardian is dead. So he doesn't realize that, despite the fact that Sunburst really does make that fight a cakewalk, he's got to put it off. Or he won't, or I should say, not that he has to put it off, that he won't find anything worth it. In fact, Dyceron's actually going further into Sank and going to check Transit Station and Reactor Core here.
And so Gollop is opting to get his gravity boost before going for not opting to do the out of bounds for the Transit Tunnel South, which makes a lot of sense. Dyceron may save some time there.
Yeah, not only does it save Gollop time in the fact that he doesn't have to worry about the out of bounds, it also means he doesn't have to burn time doing air underwater for Torvus Lagoon.
True. It's definitely a very finicky trick.
Yeah, and Gollop already, another thing that saved Gollop a lot of time over DCR, as Chad points out, is that Gollop went to Torvus as soon as he got Seekers, and ended up getting an early treasure trove of keys, basically eliminating the amount of guessing work that was needed after getting Sky Temple key hints.
Very true.
Because I would imagine Gollop's already got a roadmap in play for how to wrap this up, and I imagine the last part of that roadmap is that Wind Chamber key. We also learned that it was Dark Burst in the Sand Canyon. So Dyceron now has 2 of the other Beam Super combos, the third of which we already know was in... I want to say Storage D. No, it wasn't Storage D. Storage... it's in one of the storage rooms, one of the quick checks. Hall of Honor Dead. Thank you, chat. I'm going to really call Hall of Honor Dead a quick check. I take that back. I should have said one-off check. Like, separate room. But yeah, Gollop's got the Torvus Lagoon keys, going straight back for the Transit Tunnel South and Under Transit 1 keys. This is actually going to be really efficient routing, because he can take Transit Tunnel South to get to Gathering Hall, and then just go from the Dark Portal there and screw attack the Crystal to get to Under Transit 1, no problem. And from there, he can just save warp out, go to Temple Grounds, pick up the Wind Chamber key, and that's going to be all she wrote for this seed. We could be looking at a, I wouldn't say sub 130, but pretty darn close. Oh, sorry, not under Transit 1, under Temple Access, my bad. Under Transit 1 had a Sky Temple key in the seed earlier today, to be fair, so getting my seeds mixed up.
Basically, the next item down.
Pretty much. Yeah, like I said before, the only thing that might be a hiccup for Gollop is that he does only have 2 energy tanks. Dyceron, in the meantime,
doable.
It is doable, but it's extremely difficult, especially if you get centered on DS4.
Gollop has practiced with like very little ammo, very little health. I think he's done seeds with no energy tanks, so
oh my,
he's definitely capable.
Well, at this point, Dyceron has gone back to Aegon to do a bit of a late game Aegon loop here to get Feeding Pit and Incash 2 here. Unfortunately, Incash 2 not paying out. Granted, none of these will pay out at this point because we found all progression we know of all progression items. Actually, Dyceron never made these checks because of the lack of Dark Beam earlier. Yeah, so he missed out on Grapple Beam. He missed out on pretty much everything down here.
Another E-Tank.
So that is Sky Temple key number 8. 8 for Gollop at this point. Now it's just a matter of save warping back to Temple Grounds and wrapping this seed up with Wind Chamber. Gotta be a little careful though. He's only got 120 energy and still has to get up to the save room. I say he has to be careful, but given the level of play that both of our runners have demonstrated tonight, I don't think they're worried about energy conservation at this point.
I'm gonna get a save warp from Gollop.
To answer a question in chat about the tracker, the spot where the energy transfer module used to be, like the 5th key slot, was removed from the tracker. Yeah,
we should randomize what's there. We should put Spring Ball there, or like Book or something.
But yeah, I would say, actually, you know what really helped Gollop out here is that Cobalt Translator, which was in, that was part of the Torvus Treasure Trove. I am calling that the Torvus Treasure Trove today, because that upper Torvus was absolutely stacked, because it had, what, super missiles, like at least 3 Sky Temple keys, very useful hints from Cobalt Translator, the later 2 Sky Temple keys in Underside Torvus. But yeah, no, Torvus was absolutely loaded today.
Yeah, Gollop just needs Grand Wind Chamber and he's done.
I think actually there was an energy tank on the top of the GFS tier, so Gollop is actually going to get an extra energy tank on the way back to Temple Grounds, assuming he doesn't go the other way.
He's opting to solve the puzzle.
But has he spun the wheel enough time to get enough letters?
We'll find out.
Guess he's just not comfortable with the BSJ for this one yet. I would argue at this point that it is Gollop's race to lose, especially considering this is his last Sky Temple key anyway. And Dyceron has unfortunately, instead of going to check his hints, he ended up just following the light suit and Sanctuary Fortress items further. Although, yeah, chat brings up a good point. He couldn't check his hints before he got here because of where supers were. But yeah, DCR decided to push Sank rather than come to Torvis after Seekers. So that, ultimately, I think that was the big decision that gave Gollop this, put Gollop in this scenario. Although, again, shoutouts to both of our runners, especially on an execution level, because they've been demonstrating some astounding speed tech and trick demonstration tonight. And we also want to shout out Z Chaotix, our tracker this evening, who, especially given how fast items have been popping up, has done a great job of pressing all the buttons and keeping us all informed.
Gollop successfully not hitting that bar in the middle.
Oh yeah, the bar with an unusually large hitbox. Unfortunately, does have to kill these pirate commandos, who in this room in particular, I notice tend to still wave, tend to like to just wave at Samus.
They're the test dummies for the Sunburst.
Yeah, the only thing with Sunburst doesn't really work well on moving targets. The way it works is that it has like a damage aura around the actual shot that gradually damages enemies as it passes before the detonation, but you don't really get to see that too often. And Gollop electing to not pick up the energy tank in the GFS tier. If he's lucky, there'll be another tank in War Ritual Grounds. I don't think there was an energy tank in Defiled Shrine.
Yeesh. Yeah, I don't think he knows about the E-tank on the ship, right?
He does not. The two E-tanks he picked up were the same two DCR picked up at the start, actually, which was Jump Guardian and Trial Tunnel. Dyceron enlightening us that there was a Torvis key in Portal Chamber specifically. We may have already known that, but I'm not 100% sure. And it looks like Gollop is making a pit stop in Defiled Shrine. He might have not checked the hint. That does not look like an energy tank, though, so it looks like he's gonna just leave. He's a bit low on missiles right now, but he's gonna get a massive refill here in the Sky Temple. The nice thing about the Sky Temple Ingworm spheres here, also nice air underwater there by Dyceron to get the Torvus Lagoon key. The nice thing about the Ingworm spheres in Sky Temple is that they are guaranteed, if you're not full on missiles, to drop 10 missiles, and after that they will always drop a power bomb. One thing that I'm sure both of our runners are glad about is that neither of them got jebaited by a Morbus. Because, boy, was a Morbus a big fat bait this time.
Alright, we'll see if, let's see what Dyceron does after this pirate fight. He probably will go back to the ship and check his keycons.
Yeah, he's just now picking up his super missiles. Which is convenient because the hint for it was right outside the front door. Unfortunately, though, I do think this is it's probably going to be a little too late here.
Yeah, routing is a pretty big deal in Randomizer. Just knowing the way the logic flows, kind of reading what the feed wants you to do. Gollop does help out with some of the development in the randomizer, so he's very familiar with how it works.
Oh! That's an idea I didn't think to do. Double bomb jump into a power bomb. Fascinating strategy there.
Unfortunately, it was doing its little tripping strat at the time, so it was invincible.
Yeah, a bit of a bummer there. But yeah, from an energy perspective, Gollop is handling this fairly well. Though Emperor 3 is going to be the real challenge here. I think this 2 energy tanks Dark Suit is the weakest we've seen a runner get to Emperor so far
In the tournament, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if I agree with not getting that blue health that he saw.
He might just slurp it up with Charge Beam as Emperor 3 starts.
Hopefully he'll have time.
I think he will. Those power-ups stay on the field for like a solid minute or so. Getting a lot of phase-on damage here. Ooh, he's
Just
taking
one
a
more
lot of
screw attack.
Oh!
Okay, he only got half a screw attack. Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Luckily, he did save at the Sky Temple, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was jumping
Emperor-
a little too high there.
yeah, Emperor 3 being considerably rude with his attack pattern there. Ideally, you want him. Ideally, from my perspective, I want him to start with the lasers.
He can still bring this back. He's still in the lead.
Yeah, Dyceron now knows about his remaining keys, so and He doesn't know about gravity boost, but he's gonna skip it at this point. And unfortunately, DCR does still have to get all three. He has to get the Wind Chamber key and both Lower Torvus keys, which are kind of out of the way by comparison to where Gollop is.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gollop still has a. Gollop is still in a really good position here to take this race. I am very curious, and I will ask him in the interview what is going through his mind right now, considering that he's at Emperor Ing at 1:30, and he has still not seen his opponent done. Given the kind of matchup, given the matchup he's been up against tonight.
Yeah, Dyceron got really unlucky with his opting into Sanctuary instead of Torvus.
Alright, Gollop squeezed in a little bit of damage. Ooh, was a little high there. Luckily did avoid getting charged, though.
Yeah, you want to dip as close to the ground as you can when you're screw attacking through.
Yeah, one really good screw attack, there you go. Oh, yeah, there's an Amorphous hint.
We're still in the first round of brackets.
Come again on the brackets? I'm sorry, I missed that.
We're still in first round of the brackets, so it's they will still have a chance in losers brackets if they lose.
Okay.
And conveniently, you do get a checkpoint in case you die to Dark Samus. You start right after Emperor 3.
Yeah, that is very convenient, and you also do get, after Emperor 3, a full energy refill as well. Now, Gollop only has about 3.5 minutes of Dark Aether time, so if he gets centered immediately, well, now it's even less, but he's got to make every shot count here.
Didn't quite get a proper screw attack, so...
Yeah, since Dark Samus didn't take any damage, Gollop's just decided, you know what, let me just wait for round 2.
Yeah. Once you do enough damage, then you can actually see Dark Samus with Dark Visor. It makes the skip considerably easier.
Oh, gets centered immediately. And you know what? He's going to decide to just take the KO.
Yeah, this is smart. Just retry as soon as possible. Because you're not going to actually beat Dark Samus 4 with that little energy. With when you still need half its health.
Absolutely, yeah. That's actually a really smart idea. I might have to remember to adopt that if I encounter a similar scenario. Yeah, nice trick by DCR, by the way, to get into the dungeon portal. Without opening the gate, using a precision screw attack and bonking off the wall. For some reason, it bonks you into the cage and into the portal.
It's really tricky. There's just a hole there in the corner. Like, people think, well, you can't. You have to unlock that in order to come out of that portal, but you actually don't. You can just fall through the hole, and you're back in that room. So instead, you could screw attack and bonk up the hole to get on the ledge instead.
Yeah, it's possible to get out of that cage too without opening the gate. I think you just have to do a precision morph.
No, you just walk into the hole and you fall down.
Fair enough. I think, yeah, that screw attack tickled Dark Samus a little, and she is not centered, so Gollop still has a little bit of time left to try and figure this out.
I do believe landing on top of Dark Samus does do a little more damage than actually bonking off of her, so it's still pretty good.
Yeah, Dark Samus being a lot more cooperative this time. This is going to be close. One really good screw attack to her side will take her down.
Even if it gets centered here, I think he still does have time here.
Yeah, he's got about 1 minute, and I think Dark Samus 4 only needs 2 shots. Yeah, this last shot will absolutely kill her. Oh, and what RNG.
Nice.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, get your GGs in chat for Gollop, who finishes this race in first place with an official SRL time of 1:35.44 after an astounding routing and execution performance tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Gollop is in the Twitch chat already telling us that was a seed. It absolutely was. And Gollop, we gotta tell you, your routing was absolutely spectacular. Your decision to go to Torvis after Secret Missiles really ended up saving you a ton of time and backtracking.
Yeah, you might be surprised to learn Dyceron actually went to Sanctuary first. I believe it's because he got a hint that there was a movement system in Sync Energy Controller.
Yeah, he got that hint before you did, before Gollop did, and decided to push that instead. Which, to be fair, it was Screw Attack, which is good. Unfortunately, a comedy of errors, not a comedy of errors, but just unfortunate routing decisions just didn't allow it to work out so well. And at this time, based on what I see in the IRC, it also would appear that DCR has forfeited from the race. It's going to catch up on the restream in a couple seconds. Probably he's probably going to stop, but yeah, DCR is forfeited.
Yeah, it looks like he is going for doing some practice for some shenanigans categories. Getting this item, getting this last Sky Temple key from Out of Bounds. We'll see if we could get him in the call.
Yeah, we just got to mark them real quick. Give me 3 seconds. But yeah, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, that should conclude our first round of the winners of the brackets, and Dyceron is joining us in the call. GG, Dyceron. Yeah, so in your defense, you weren't making any like bad calls or anything of that nature. It's just, unfortunately, you ended up pushing Sank after getting that movement system hint, while Gollop went for Torvis after Seeker Missiles.
Yeah, I was debating, but then when I got the hint, I forgot what the hint was for a Screw Attack. But once I saw that hint, I was like, I had to get it.
It was in Mining Station B.
Yeah, that kind of... If I didn't find that, I would have gone Torvis. I definitely felt like I routed pretty well. I mean, I wouldn't have known about Torvis being loaded with keys.
Yeah, well, it does tend to be. It's just that Torvis had super missiles that really unlocked the seed. It unlocked info for the seed, at least.
Yeah, Upper Torvis just kind of made the seed explode, because it had what? It had supers. It had
Cobalt.
yeah,
Did it
Cobalt,
have anything
which
else?
actually, and a lot of Sky Temple keys. But the thing
Yeah.
about Cobalt, is that the hint in I want to say it was
Watch station.
yeah, Watch Station was a gravity boost hint, which was in Cache B.
Ah.
So in fairness, you were right around the corner to that. But looks like you were about to go out of bounds anyway for the Transit Tunnel South key.
Yeah, I had it all routed out pretty well, but I guess went the wrong way.
Yeah, you were basically once you had you just needed super missiles for go mode pretty much. Gollop actually had some difficulties as well because he didn't go to Vault, so he didn't get his light suit, and he only found 2 energy tanks.
Oh.
The same 2 you found at the start, actually, which was Trial Tunnel and Jump Guardian. There was another energy tank right on top of the GFS tier, if I'm not mistaken, on the in GFMC. So there was another energy tank right next to Wind Chamber.
Overall, though, the sea was like pretty easy. There was nothing really hard about it.
It was a pretty easy
And
seed,
the
although
items were placed pretty well overall. Weren't too bad. Like Darkbeam wasn't a troll. It was good.
yeah, actually, on the subject of that, that is one thing that Gollop did end up in getting a bit of a boost off of, is he elected to wait he decided to not do Rush Hive Chamber B after bombs, after the power bomb tank. So he got Dark Beam with his space jump.
Yeah, it's because like even though it's the expansions aren't what's counted for it, it's like I have a power bomb. I want to explore, which may or may not be a good idea.
It's not a bad play to be. I'm sorry, you first, Jagger.
It was pretty funny at the start. Gollop actually did the test jump, and he got missiles and then power bombs like right away. And we were like, man, that's huge. He's got these 2 other checks, and they were both in hive keys. But then he got light beam almost immediately, and then you got light beam like almost immediately as well. And then you got space jump, and he put that off. And then he got dark beam, and that was kind of orphan for you. So it was just a total, I guess, routing back and forth.
So another funny thing that happened is that around the time Spider's Treasure was in Logic, Gollop was heading in the direction, I think, of at least coming from Mining Plaza or from Aegon towards the Sank Elevator, right as you were reading the hint about the suit in Hall of Combat Mastery.
Wow. There were some other routing issues. Like I took long ways for no reason. I think, like my first trip to Sanctuary after I got the suit, I went to the Dark World for Hazing Cliff, and then I was thinking of just going down to Hive. What's it? Hive. The the save station. Yeah, I was thinking going to that save to go back to the start, but instead I decided to go all the way around manually through all the elevators, and yeah. And I was thinking about Hive entrance, but I was like, yeah, probably not a smart choice.
Yeah, actually, so Gollop is actually saying in the Twitch chat that he had a little bit of confusion with supers and that was the result of some routing. I'm looking at his IGT, and his in-game time is only 1:16. Holy cow!
Yeah, that's top 8 for you.
But neither of you got debated by a Morbus. I will also say that much.
Yes, and Chica was not required at all. She's good.
Yeah, Chica wasn't required. I think there was a quad hint line around which said it was a power bomb tank. And a Morbus was there was an Morbus hint later too, and it was a dark ammo tank.
Yes.
And we found all the major items, so...
Oh, yeah. How about all morph ball systems within 15 minutes? Because,
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, when I saw the item on mining station A, I was like, "Oh, that's spider." Like, wait, no, wait, what? It could be on higher difficulty. I was like,
yeah,
okay, boost ball is probably in bombs, and it was. Oh no, sorry, the other way around. Spider was in bombs. I was like, oh,
yeah, we thought it was going to be main power bombs for a second, but no, it was. What was it? It was boost ball on mining station A, bombs and portal access, spider on bomb guardian, and power bombs and sand cache, with Amber Translator being in somewhere really cooperative.
Energy controller? No. Ventilation area.
That's the one.
Real close by. Yeah, unfortunately, you didn't have bombs when you went that way, and Gollop did.
But with that said, is there anything else? Anything else you want to say about the seed in general?
not really. It was pretty okay.
Yeah, definitely one of the fastest. Definitely up there among the top 3 fastest seeds we've seen this tournament for sure. But with that said,
I'll try to make sure you get your revenge in losers bracket.
yeah, because I think if I'm not mistaken, you are now facing Bellator, Dyceron.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll have to
We got
confirm
a
the
funny
schedule.
rock paper scissors there, because Dyceron beat me in the Swiss rounds, and I beat Bellator in the first bracket round, and Bellator beat Gollop in the Swiss stages, and now Gollop beats Dyceron in the brackets. And
Yeah,
we
that
just
is a pretty
cycled again.
crazy. That is a pretty crazy circle. But yeah, I think so. Jagger, you and Gollop will now face off. I think in the next round.
I'm excited.
So that, yeah, folks, there are some good matches. There are still some great matches coming down the pipe here in the Metroid Prime 2 Randomizer tournament. We will, of course, keep you posted on the schedule over the Metroid Prime 2 schedule over what is to come in the next set of the brackets.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good 4 matches next week as well.
Indeed. And again, if you have not already, please give both of our runners a follow if you have not done so, because they have put on an astounding show for you this evening. We also, once again, want to shout out Z Chaotix, our tracker, who has, with all the items that have been popping in and out throughout this particular match, done a great job keeping the buttons pressed and keeping us all in check. Jagger G, a pleasure commentating with you as always.
Same.
And with that said, GG's to both our runners once again. Thank you all for watching. Have a great night, and we will see you next mission.
I'm DCR.